Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're reviewing the monster of Peladon. My first time watching this story. Now, I started out doing individual reviews for episodes as I normally do, but I soon realized they were becoming a bit repetitive because the things I seemed to like about each episode were kind of the same things. So I figured, you know what, I'd rather just get on with it and watch the story. And I did enjoy it. It does kind of retread Curse in places. And it hurts Curse a little bit too, because even though it's 50 years later, a lot of progress hadn't been made between the noble class and the common class. Plus, Curse goes out of its way to subvert your expectations about the Ice Warriors. Just for them to be kind of the bads in this one, because they are the bads in this one, one of the bads. Although it does give you a little dialogue that it's not all of the Ice Warriors. This is just kind of a rogue faction that wanted to go back to the old ways. There is a line put in there for that with Alpha Centauri saying, you know, you've been peaceful members of the Federation for years. And them explaining that they just, you know, the leader of the Ice Warriors wanted to go back to the old ways. So they're just kind of a rogue faction. I did like that was in there. I like the guy playing the leader of the Ice Warriors, the kind of commander. He's really good. One, I like his outfit. It's really good. And his voice. And a lot of it comes down to his voice. I wonder if he was picked because of his voice. His voice is really good. It carries, it carries authority. There's definitely this authority behind it. I like when he talks early on, I think in episode 4, to the doctor about, you know, I'm your judge, your jury, and your executioner if need be. I liked him a lot. The Ice Warrior costumes for the regular Ice Warriors I enjoy. I like that shade of green that they use for the for the Ice Warrior costumes in this story. And they kind of glisten, like they have this gloss on them. I really liked that as well. I was really pleased with the Ice Warrior design and how the Ice Warriors were utilized in this story. It was nice to learn that the Queen's kind of right-hand man actually was a good guy. It does a pretty good job of making you suspicious about him just for him to actually turn out to be just really set in his ways and very much, you know, do everything by tradition. The older I get, the more I think tradition is just pure pressure from the dead, honestly. But he's a traditionalist, and he ends up actually, you know, dying to kind of try to protect the Queen. I like that. He actually was a good person, just very old-fashioned. And then finding out that the other guy, the engineer, the one in the black jumpsuit, yeah, he wasn't a good guy. I knew it. I knew he wasn't a good guy. At least I strongly suspected it. But yeah, in this story, there was a lot of times I'm like, yeah, that person. I don't trust that person. There was a lot of that. But yeah, just to see how he kind of plays being a nice guy early on, even though he does a couple of things that make you go, and then just to kind of find out he's actually kind of a douche, you know, I'm like, yeah, douche, called it. The actor playing him, though, who I still swear looks like a young Major Krennic, does a good job. He does a good job playing all of the different aspects of that character. Now, the show stealer for the story is Sarah Jane. Elizabeth Sladen is just... Elizabeth's always good. Sarah Jane's my favorite companion, but, like, she normally gives, like, a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 performance. She's, like, giving a 13 out of 10 performance here. It is just so good. I love her energy in this and the emotion and the heart she brings to this story, but still this strong independence that she brings to this story as well. I talked about in part 1 how much I loved her in that. She's so just full of vigor. I like how she's basically poking fun at the doctor at the beginning of the story when they land in the wrong spot, and she's not surprised at all, and she's poking fun at him about it. And then when the doctor mentions, like, I want to stop off and see my friend the king, she's like, name dropping, yeah. And then when the doctor thinks the guards are going to welcome him, and the guards see him like, there they are. Sarah doesn't even try to, she just runs. I don't think that, she just bolts. She's gone. The doctor's like, Sarah! Sarah Jane's just gone. She's out. She takes off, right? I love it. I love it. And then when they're in the Queen's chamber and they're trying to put them on their knees and she doesn't want to go, and when she tries to talk, and they're like, we weren't talking to you, we were talking to your master, because he is not my master. She just is so just indignant about that. I absolutely love it. And then afterwards, she's like, well, I would like an apology. And the doctor's like, come on. And there's a lot of her doing that. She's just feisty. But I love the tender moments. Like, there's a couple times where she thinks the doctor gets killed. I love her emotional reaction to that, especially since they haven't known each other long at this point. I really enjoy seeing that, especially in the last episode when she sees him on the screen and she thinks he's dead, and Elizabeth does so many subtle things with her face, her facial expressions, and the way like a lip quivers or something. It's so effective. Such good acting. And then of course when she's got tears kind of coming down when she gets down to the refinery and he snaps out of it just to find out, he was in a trance. She's like, but I thought you were... He picks at her about it. Does that little thing where he kind of tips her chin, which you couldn't do nowadays. But it's adorable. It's this neat little sign of affection. And I think it's absolutely adorable when I watch it. And then I love the very final shot of the story when she's picking at him about, he was offered a chance to stay as her counselor. And she's like, oh, think about it. You have a career, you got a retirement plan. And he's like, I love that look on the third doctor's face. In you go, Sarah Jane. Oh, I was just looking out for your career. And I like how he kind of catches her by the ear. In you go. In that playful tone. It's so adorable. Because most of the time, I think when we think of Sarah Jane, we think of her with 4, which is perfect. I mean, that's my favorite TARDIS team, her with 4. They're beautiful together. But it's a nice reminder that the Doctor is still the same man. The third Doctor and the fourth Doctor are the same person. And to see that they already have that bond, even in the third Doctor's era, where they have this banter, this playfulness between them. Like when I date, for example, when I'm dating somebody, I like to have that kind of banter with them where we can play with each other, we can pick at each other. Those are the best relationships to me. Friendships the same way. Most of my closest friends, we can pick and play at each other. So I enjoyed seeing that in this story a lot. Sarah Jane's definitely my highlight, and her rapport with the Doctor is definitely my other highlight. Of course, John is great. John is always great. He also does a lot of subtle things with his face and his acting. And I never get tired of hearing him. Now listen here, old chap. I love that. I love his manner of speaking. Very regal manner of speaking he has. The cliffhanger for episode 4 I wasn't buying. Like when the other guy managed to beat the Doctor in a fight. My willing suspension of disbelief went, nope. Nope. This is the third Doctor we're talking about. The third Doctor doesn't lose fights. I was willing to let it go with the Ice and the Time Warrior, because the Sontarans are supposed to be, brutally strong. They live in how many atmospheres stronger is their planet? So they're meant to be physically dominating. To me, that shows how tough Lynx was, that he was able to beat the third Doctor in a fight. So when this is happening, and that guy manages to practically knock out the third Doctor, everything else in the story, I'm fine with. My willing suspension of disbelief is cool. But that, nope. It's like going up to someone, I just watched the Doctor lose in a fight. They'd be like, no. Well, what's so surprising about that? It was the third Doctor. Wait, what? The third Doctor? Yeah, I'm not believing that. It was choreographed pretty decently, though. I like the cliffhanger to episode 5 with them burning through the door. That was a pretty neat little cliffhanger. I did enjoy that one. I still love the effect of Agador, the fake Agador, materializing and killing people. That's a pretty neat little special effect. I was sad when the real Agador died. I thought it was cool. I like the fact that the Doctor and Agador are kind of buddies. I mean, it might take him a second to recognize him, but the Doctor has his little calming thing he can do to kind of chill Agador out, and how Agador is the one that led him to the Queen, and Agador attacked the engineer. I felt bad that Agador, he took out the engineer, but he died too. That was sad. And you can see the Doctor was concerned. I like how he kind of just shoves the engineer's body out of the way to check on Agador. And, that look on John's face when he looks at the Queen, he's just like, that's a sad look. Again, John is very good at doing just acting with his face as well. There's a lot of good in Monsters of Peladon. It retreads Curse. Does it justify its own existence, to me, is the ultimate question. And going into episode 6, I probably would have said no, because we could have gotten another original story instead for John's penultimate story. But I liked episode 6 a lot. I did really enjoy it. So I would say yes, I think it justifies its own existence. And I liked it. I know Monsters of Peladon doesn't have the best reputation, and I don't know why, unless it's because a lot of it is retreading Curse, or a lot of people just didn't like Curse, because I like Curse of Peladon. I think it's fine. I don't know which story I like better between Curse and Monster, actually. If I was, that might be a future video, I'd probably need to rewatch Curse again, and I don't own Curse. Hopefully that season 9 box set does, we do get an announcement on that soon, hopefully. I think Curse needs a rewatch, because I enjoyed this. I thought the Doctor and Sarah were great. John and Elizabeth were great. I thought the guest cast were good. I don't like when they, like, there's times when they're in the caves where they're obviously shooting on film, and I don't know why. Because it's really jarring sometimes when it goes from really grainy film to studio videotape. That's really wonky, and they really need to do something with that when it gets to the season 11 box set. I like the Agador costume. Yeah, I thought it was a good story. I enjoyed it. Is it essential Doctor Who? No. But I do think if you're a Sarah Jane fan, you should see it because she's great. The highlight, my favorite part of the story is just Elizabeth Sladen and Sarah Jane, and how well Sarah Jane is written and performed in this and directed in this. She's the highlight for me. I love the character development. I don't think Sarah is written as well, and while still being written good, but not just this 13 out of 10 that she is here in a lot of her stories. So that definitely gives it a strong rewatchability for me. I love her playfulness in this story. So, The Monster of Peladon, what do you think of it? Comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. My goal in 2023 is to reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you enjoy my content and haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button. That helps me out. Don't forget to give me that nice thumbs up. That helps me out with the YouTube algorithm as well. I also have a Patreon. If you like what I do and would like to support what I do and get access to other neat Patreon exclusive things like early access to videos and some Patreon exclusives, there's a link to that down in the description below. That does help me keep bills paid. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Finn Perkins, Colin Coney, and Stephen Crane. I appreciate their support as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have a P.O. box. If there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review, this was actually sent to me, Monsters of Peladon, The Monster of Peladon. I had trouble saying that right. The Monster of Peladon. This was actually sent to me by one of my subscribers who is also one of my patrons, Unknown Don't Trust Numbers. He knew I hadn't seen it yet, so he did send that to me, and I really appreciate him sending that. My P.O. box is down in the description, as is a link to my Amazon wishlist and my Amazon UK wishlist if you'd like to check those out. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.